Alrighty. Where is it? Main, yeah. What the fuck is it? Cool. Hopefully you guys can hear me, right? Cranberry wine, my friend. Good evening. Give me 1 second. What did I want to do? So that's fine. Yeah, I guess you should be able to hear me, right? Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. How is life, friend? How are things? How are things? Your mom just gave you some orange. You should enjoy you should enjoy these times when you're so young that your mom brings you things. That's amazing. Let me eat a candy from my son. I stole one. I stole a candy from him, but I think he has few more, so he's not going to notice. It's called Barney. The candy is called Barney. It's like a little bear. You know Barney, yeah. Yeah. Is this fella. I want to test my Fastify application. What do you use? I mean, you just I don't use anything special. I just use whatever it's officially presented here in the Fastify documentation, basically. So that's pretty much what I use. I use this HTTP injection. I do something like this. Yeah. The good thing with Fastify, right, that it comes with all of these things, right? So you don't really need a third-party thing, right? Leo, my friend. So what you do, right? Let me actually show you in the context of programmer network, right? So you export an application, you export an app object, right? I have a build function, right? That you can call this whatever, of course. That returns the app. So you can see you build this app object, right? And that's how you start the server. And the reason why you want to do this, right, is because then you can also create this object for your tests, right? So you can, right? So I think one fundamental thing is that a lot of beginners, especially today's beginners, don't understand is that official documentation is always your best friend, right? So if you want to learn React, Angular, Golang, nodejs, whatever, you should always go and read the official thing, right? If you want to learn Fastify, you don't need a course, you don't need a Udemy course, YouTube course. You come here, you build up some patience, right? And then you read this documentation and you, right? The details of this build, right, are not that relevant. And of course I can show it, right? But this function, you create your server. Generally, this is called server. I call it app myself. So you have an app. You then do various things with this app object. You add certain things to it, right? I mean, this is my own. Your stuff is going to be different, right? And then you just return this app, right? So that's basically really all that there is to it. There isn't really much more to say. Give me 1 second. It's actually a little bit cold. Yeah, so anyway, today in this stream, Obi, my friend, good evening. Yeah, I think you're right, Leo, but I think that is the irony, right? If you want to be a software engineer and you don't have patience to read, then you're not going to be a very great software engineer, right? So that is one of the biggest paradoxes, if one can say it's a paradox, right? If you can't, and I get it, right? I mean, indeed, it's true that some people prefer video content and stuff, right? But play one game, my friend. Good evening. You and Leo, if you guys didn't ask about the stream, I probably wouldn't have streamed tonight. So thank you for asking, as always. You guys always push me. You guys always push me. No, it's just like it's a new year now, and I really need to figure out where I think Leo said a very, 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 very correct thing. He said it's gonna be very difficult to do YouTube and Programmer Network and whatever, Twitch, and I think he's right. I think that's a very very correct thing to say. I don't think that's gonna be possible, right? So I think what I'm most likely going to do, I'm just gonna go and just focus on Programmer Network as before, and just build this and improve and things like that, and then maybe do some Go as well. But we'll see, right? But I think it's a fair assessment to say that doing all this basically is just gonna make even things that worked well bad, right? So the biggest thing boo with videos is that all of these videos that you watch are created by some author reading documentation, right? So, but I mean, whatever works for you, it works, right? I get that. Okay, so anyway, let's X, good evening. Let's start with the stream today, right? So what I want to do today, so many of you might or might not know that we haven't switched to Bun yet because I was waiting for Performance Observer API to be implemented. So we can, because we couldn't switch to it because we're using Grafana and Prometheus and we're using Prompt Client, and Bun didn't have Performance Observer API implemented before. Now they do have it implemented. I was actually very happy because while I was on vacation, they apparently released. So they didn't implement this. Yeah, they have it now. So we're going to switch to Bun now, right? So finally we can run Bun. So if I go to this version here, right? Version, I just read the patch notes before. This is actually where they implemented Performance Observer. So you can see now, fixes Bun install, blah, blah. So that's cool. I mean, I wanted us to switch to it. I mean, if they claim that it's 20 times faster than Node, and of course, if we take that with a huge grain of salt, as we should, but even if it's faster 50%, not 5,000%, it's still worth switching to, right? But I don't, yeah, I mean, you see, so I never, yeah, it's always hard to trust these numbers because I don't know. You see, like even this 66,000 requests, 13,000 requests. Yeah, I don't know how they conducted these things, right? I don't know how they conducted these benchmarks, right? So, but if we are to trust them, I mean, let's trust them, yeah. Yeah, Go is indeed. I mean, to be honest, yeah, we can't rewrite the main API of Programmer Network in Go. That would be amazing. It would just take so much time, right? Because we have so many things, right? I mean, if I open up our, I mean, it's not that much, right? It's not the endpoints. Like this part we could rewrite in maybe, I don't know, few streams, right? It's more about all of the other stuff, right? We have for a lot of other things, right? Some of the custom things as well. So yeah. Rebecca, my friend, good evening. Fair enough. All right, so let's see. So what I started doing literally like 3 minutes before I click the stream button. I'm trying to, I need to update the my Docker image for Programmer Network, right? So I need to make sure that, yeah, the Docker image, Docker file is updated, right? Rewrite all to assembly, exactly. So let's see. So what we need to do basically is, yeah, what we need to do is just switch, you know, to bun, right? We have bun lock now. We don't have a. So let's see how we do this, right? I don't actually know, to be very frank with you. No, backend is written in nodejs. Yeah. All right, so going back here, blah, 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 blah. So what did I want to do? Oh, yeah. So we need, yeah, bun docker. So they have this official thing, right? They have this official thing, and let's try that, right? I mean, technically, let's just try literally that, right? So I'm gonna go open up my Docker file, right? And I will. This is a little bit weird. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, I mean, it's so fucking annoying. Okay. All right, so let's try this. Let's just try to say docker build. Hey, I'm new here. I recently got a job as a junior backend, and I'm super nervous. Any advice for my first day? Don't be nervous. I mean, number one, don't be nervous. You got a job, right? So that's congrats. That's a huge thing. That's a huge. Now you are in the industry, so that's amazing. Ask questions. You know, smart people ask questions. Write things down. Smart people don't memorize things. They write things down. Get yourself a pen. Put it in your shirt. Put a little sticky notes. When I'm at work, I always have a pen or two in my pocket here. I carry sticky notes with me. So write things down. You're gonna get a lot of details. You're gonna learn a lot of things. You're gonna meet a lot of people. You're gonna get a lot of information in the first couple of months, and that's fine. Just yeah, relax and ask things. Ask for help, and yeah. Be curious, you know, and that is all that you need, right? Little Leon, good evening. Thank you very much, Kev, for the follow. Okay, so let me just focus, fellas, here a little bit because yeah, so it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird. My pleasure, man. So it's a little bit weird that they actually that their official Docker image that I just literally copy pasted now, that it's actually not working. I mean, it's so weird, right? No. So Little Onion is my best man. He's my best friend as well, and his son is called. Never mind. Let me not say that. Little Onion. Yeah. Well. Yeah. It's a little bit weird, man, that their official Docker image actually. Their official Docker image doesn't have Python installed. That's a little bit weird, right? Oh, maybe something that we have in our dependencies requires Python, right? So that's most likely the thing, right? Yeah, I think that's the problem, right? Okay, let's fix it. I mean, I actually want us to switch the bun now, right? So let's see. Okay, and actually we need log rotate, so we can't we can't mess this up. I need this is my cron job, right? I see. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna open this Docker file, right? And I'll actually do this maybe here, right? Earlier in the process, install log rotate. But then, yeah, it's saying that we don't have Python installed, right? So if I open this log here, right, it's saying, hey, so let me smack this inside of ChatGPT, right? Because I'm not going to read this, but I'm pretty sure that we have to install Python, right? Let's just wait, apt python 3 Docker image, right? Docker. 2017. I don't actually want that, right? All right, let's take a look. Nah. Yeah, never mind. No, that's not. Let's ask the robot. Let's ask our Jean Code Van Debug. I actually haven't taken a look at the team plan play one game. I haven't taken a look at that, so no comments there. Let's try this, right? So now we need to do a bit of a generic type of work, right? Something that's, yeah, not necessarily super fun, but yeah, that's what it is. Okay, and while that's happening, while that's failing, let's switch a song. Okay, let's see what's happening now. Yeah, it's trying to install Python. I'm sure this is gonna fail with something else, but once we figure this one out, then we can run our production, our server, right, in using bun, and then we can hopefully monitor that as well relative to nodejs. So actually, that's gonna be an interesting one, right? So if I go to our Grafana, if I'm not blocked by, no, that's great. So it's gonna be a very interesting thing, right? So this is our nodejs application, right? And so before we actually switch to bun, I think we should take a screenshot of something of this and see how much memory. So actually, I'm just gonna do that now, right? So I'm gonna just take a screenshot of this, and then once we switch to bun, I want to see actually. It's hosted on Hetzner. Everything, whole infrastructure is hosted on Hetzner. You have the link you have an affiliate link also in my, in Twitch descriptions. Description. So it's having an issue, I guess, with this, right? With some Postgres thing, right? Let's see. So now it's user PG. What is... I'm not running Kubernetes. I barely have 5 active users, right? So running Kubernetes would be a huge failure. I'm not running Grafana locally. I'm running Grafana in production and Prometheus and stuff. It's a very complicated infrastructure. Well, it's not very complicated, but it's large. I'm using Postgres. Yeah, so this is, we don't actually know if this is going to work, to be very frank with you. I don't know. I don't know if our dependencies now are all fine to work with bun. Let's see. It's not managed. It's, as I said, I'm hosting everything on Hetzner. Good evening, Alex. There's nothing managed. Everything is hosted by me, including Postgres. All right, let's see. Yeah, so this is where it's failing, right? It's failing to, yeah, it's so fucking annoying, man. Like, seriously, how? Yeah, right. So this is a little bit weird, right? Yeah, let's just keep smacking this, and this is what AI is. This is what generative AI is great for. This sort of crap to go through all of these error logs, right? And yeah, it's just let's try to get around this, right? I mean, what else is there, right? So we'll probably need to install this LLVM. It's just, yeah, I'm not so sure about that, but let's try that. I mean, I just want us to be able to pass this step, and I suppose then other stuff should be okay. Alvi, I mean, again, you can run. You don't. I think it's not really relevant how much the hardware is not really relevant unless you have a huge user base, right? So programmer network I have 4 CPUs, 16 gigs of RAM, right, and stuff, and that's irrelevant because if we take a look at the usage, the server usage, you can see that I'm using 6% of CPU, 8% of memory, right? So you can see that almost no resources are actually used, right? So yeah, right. So it's you shouldn't be worrying so much about how many instances are you running unless you have high payload, right? I don't get it. I mean, it's so like it's a. And I really wonder if this is a Windows Linux subsystem issue, right? I play a guitar my whole life. I think we played a few times on the stream as well. You can only scale nodejs in one way. You cluster it, right? That's really the way to do it, right? But you can scale it both horizontally and vertically, right? But generally, you just cluster things. You use PM2 or whatever, right? Okay, this is a little bit annoying. This is those types of things are so random, and it's very difficult now for me to figure out where is this failing. So we have some, what is this? Cache node lib Postgres. So this is, I mean, if I'm to look at this, right, this has to be related to something to this module here, right? So that is a little bit annoying, right? Because it's so hard to fix this crap. Let's see, configure git fail with code. But install frozen log file. So we do have a log file, right? Well, it will generate one, I suppose. Error failed, this whole process did not complete successfully, yeah. Let's see if we Google this, if we can get something, right? Why can't I install it? Let's try this, right? Let's go to the Docker file here. Actually, we are already doing that. Shit, man. So we are already installing it. So yeah, that's a little bit annoying, man. That's a little bit annoying. I can tell you that, because I wanted us to start the stream by simply, switching to Bun finally now when we can, when it supports all the APIs we need. But this is kind of where we failed. Current working directory, temp, dev, node modules. Let me try one thing, because this really is. Let's try not to cache any of this crap, right? So package, blah blah blah. Let me try not doing this just for fun. Let's try something like this. Or actually, even, wait a minute, give me a second. I think, give me 2 seconds. Let me see, so let me try this. This is just the updated version of my own old Docker file, right? And I'm gonna use this image, which is apparently their official image. I guess, can we say 24? Because I think that's the current version. 25 gold, my friend. Good evening. Is that the great Alex? Yeah, man, I'm alive. What about yourself? Okay, let's see now. Could not find Python installation to use. So it's the same crap, right? So it seems that it's having a hard time. It's having a hard time passing. So there's some dependency missing for Postgres, right? I'm just gonna grab this to install Python, which is a little bit weird, but that's what it is. So I'm gonna, try that. I'm gonna try build again. No, I don't think that this has nothing to do with Bun. I think some of the dependencies that we have to build or install here in our package.json require something, right? So you can see now when I do this, LLM version is not defined while evaluating blah blah. So I don't know. You see, this is a little bit random because it's very difficult to figure out what the hell does this crap means, right? And I'm not going to pretend that I understand, right? Because this is, because it wouldn't make sense to get V8 errors, right? Because now we are the thing is, right, we shouldn't be getting V8 errors because now we're no longer running nodejs, right? So there's no V8 anywhere. We shouldn't be. That's the whole point of Bun, is it's a different runtime, right? It's just when you get an error like this, so it's most likely. Let me try one thing, right? So what I'm actually going to try, I'm going to discard these changes, right? Let's try just one thing. Let's try to isolate ourselves to this problem, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to search for Postgres And I'm actually going to remove a Postgres from the dependency, right? And I'll just try that without it, right? So I'll do bun install, right? Isn't that? So let's try bun install, right? Okay, so that succeeded properly, it seems. Let's try Docker build now. So yeah, so we can actually see that that's the issue, yeah. So we can clearly see that. So wait, bun.js pg module. So we can see, right, that where this fails is this pg thing, right? It's Postgres basically client, right? So we are basically failing to install the Postgres client. That is essentially the problem, right? Let's go to their to their official thing, issues, and let's search for bun, right? Okay, that wasn't very helpful, was it? Yeah, so this is what we need to figure out. So what is the version that they have, and what? Yeah, so I have the latest version, right? So okay, so bun essentially is having trouble now. I guess. Let's see. It's not going to be easier. Why would I do that? I'm using their official image. I'm actually using my own image that worked past year and a half, right? So why would I build it from scratch? And build exactly what from scratch? We know exactly what the problem is. Problem is that we're failing installing this module, right? For whatever reason. So we need to focus on that. Why? I mean, rebuilding the whole image from scratch, what would that solve? We know where the problem is. So rewriting the previous and after steps, it would make no sense. We would still fail at this step, right? So you can see we fail when we bun install, right? So we essentially fail. We fail here, right? And we fail at installing this fella, right? So that's where we fail. And the error is essentially all right, let me try one thing, even though this makes absolutely zero sense. I'll just do one thing. Give me a second. So aren't we getting the same error now locally, right? Because if I do bun install locally, right? Wait a minute, what? Let's try again. I mean, I have to give it that it's super fast. I can see that it's like super fast. I mean, it's actually quite insane how fast it is. It's just, let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's still failing to do certain things, right? That's the problem, right? And it's still, again, related to Postgres, something related to this Postgres module, right? So let me just try one thing. So again, if I remove this and do this and we remove the node modules, right? So let's try this again. Yeah, so you can see it succeeds, right? So where can we find let's check the bun.js GitHub, right? There has to be an issue with PG package, right? So let's search for node Postgres. I'm sure we'll find something. I don't think we're the only ones dealing with this, right? Libp, yeah, here it is. I think it's this thing, right? Yeah, this is it. Yep. Ah, shit, no response. Yeah. So this is what we're dealing with. So we're not the only ones. Okay, well, and ironically, we need the version 122, right? Because that's the one that has this performance observer, right? So here's the Knex module. I'm sure that Knex is a query builder, right? So Knex is probably using PG underneath, right? No, never mind. This is. Did you run bun install? Wow. Okay. What a great question. Did you turn on your computer? 3 weeks ago. Yeah. Exactly. Did you try join internet? And then silent crash with PG package. Yeah, this is my always skepticism towards these top-notch 3 seconds old technologies, right? It's always massive overpromise. I'm having the same issue. The bun install fails as above when attempting to install. Where was this? Was this the version, right? I think that was the version PG. Yeah, 8.11.3, right? Yeah. All right. Well, what can we do? Nothing. It seems that we can't do much, right? How often do you stream? Honestly, I don't have a schedule. Sometimes I stream 5 days in a row. Sometimes I don't stream for 2 weeks. So it depends whenever I feel like streaming, pretty much. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what to do about it, honestly. I don't know how to proceed with this. It seems that we can't, in fact, proceed with this because now we are having this issue that we can't overcome, right? So for some reason, I mean, we can try a few things, but I don't honestly think that we're gonna have much success here. But let me just yeah, let me just take a look at this again, just maybe for one more minute. So I think I know what this probably is. I mean, this is probably related to some nodejs bindings, right? Because you can see when we do bun install, it's trying to use nodejs 29.0 to build something, it seems, right? So this is kind of this whole disastrous land of JavaScript, right? I mean, I don't think that even God, if there is one, would know what this is, right? Because we're running bun, which is trying to run node, and then that is failing, right? So that's like crazy. I mean, if we would actually to spend time debugging this, we would need to go like bun install, right? And then we try to build something, right? Are you begging for dev gods? That would be great, but you can see that it's yeah, it's a shame, man. I was actually happy to see that those fellas implemented performance observer, right? But yeah, now I'm not suddenly 20 minutes later. I'm not so positive, right? And there's 2,000 issues opened. I mean, this is also a little bit scary, right? There's literally like there's 2,000 issues opened. That doesn't give me much confidence into this, to be very frank with you. Give me 1 second. Just that doesn't give me much confidence, right? Yeah. Okay, so you know, guys, what? Screw it. Let's just write some code. I'll waste my own time with this. I don't want to waste your time. But for now, yeah, we can. I'll just discard this because it failed basically. So we can't. It seems that we can't switch to bun just yet. But yeah. So yeah, let me just reinstall this stuff with pnpm. It's not that it would change much for us. It wouldn't improve necessarily much because, you know, our API isn't really under any load at all almost. But it would have been cool that we did, right? So let me open my terminal that I actually generally use. It's this one, right? So let's try this again. Right, yes, great. So let's go to localhost. Yeah, so what I've been doing a little bit off stream is what I've been coding a little bit off stream yesterday, and what I've actually done is yeah, I've been trying just a little bit of stuff. Last time I streamed, we did this little drag and drop stuff for Programmer Network, right? So if I open this open source stuff that I wrote, yeah, I was working with this drag and drop list. If you guys remember, some of you were here, right? So I've actually implemented that in production as well, right here in the courses. And what I actually haven't done yet is I haven't, I'm not calling the endpoint yet. So let's maybe do some work, and then we can answer some questions and la la la. So actually we're gonna write some code now. Let me just search for draggable. So yeah, so this is the last thing we did together. And I believe that when we wrote unsorted, right, when we call this sorted, here we'll need to call that endpoint that we wrote. Let me just print this sorted lectures, right? Yeah, shit. Yeah, I don't know what the hell is happening. All right, give me a second and let me just let me play something. Let's play. I had an extra IC. All right, so let's go over here to this bad boy. Let's see. So is this handler being called that I implemented? So if I drag and drop this, yeah, it is. Cool. Is it too loud? Should I reduce the volume, guys? Ah, you can barely hear it. Okay. What about now? Is it fine now? All right, trolls. Okay, so this is good, right? So now we want to actually call, so we have this endpoint. So if I actually go to, let me just close a bunch of this crap because obviously that we failed with that. So I'll just close that up. So I have some endpoint that I wrote, right? It's called, it's this one, right? Lectures sort. Let's go to the, let's work with the front end a little bit. So lectures, didn't I have this service somewhere? Yeah, no, okay. All right, cool, great, super. So let's actually go and do some work, right? So so we want to create something like this, right? And for now we just want to call some service, right? Sorry, so we have v1 courses slug sections lectures. Yeah, I actually should have maybe used this one. Where is this crap? Yeah. So let's just do something like this. I'm just gonna do this. I'll actually close this for a second. Ah, fuck off. So let's say handle sort lectures or whatever, something like that, right? That should be fine, yes. And let's just save that for a second. And this is gonna be a post, I suppose, right? If we take a look at our Swagger, there's gonna be a put, and this is what it expects: an ID and an order. Okay. So we'll need to map to produce this thing, I suppose, or we can actually do that in the. So we'll see in a second. So it's gonna be a put, as we said, right? This is gonna be the endpoint, and how did I implement this wrapper around Axios? So it takes the body, okay. So let's do something like this. Yeah, sure. Something like that, right? Right, okay. let's just print this so we make sure that this lambda function is called properly. So if I do this, we should get the section ID and the sorted stuff. And then what did we say that I expect in this this endpoint that I wrote? So I expect lectures to be an array and with an ID and the order, right? So, okay, so I mean we can do that pretty easily, right? So let's do that pretty easily, right? So so the order is going to be the position in the array, and the ID is going to be the ID of the lecture, right? So that's, and just FYI, so you can follow. So now I want to implement it. You're able to in the so if I go to production, you know, I have my course, right? And if I go to the dashboard, actually, sorry, dashboard courses, I added the course, right? I want to be able to, when I'm editing, to reorder the lessons, how they go, right? I want to reorder them, right? Because if you go then to that specific course, for example, here, right, this order is that. So if I go to the course, you see these things are going to be ordered in a certain way, right? So this is what I want to hide the chat. Yeah, I guess I could do that, yeah. There you go. Okay, cool. So yeah, so that's great. That's awesome. Let me actually close that crap. My pleasure, man. So yeah, so we're gonna do this, pretty much this, right? We're gonna let me just take a look at Swagger again. It's expecting an object that has lectures. Okay. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna say lectures, and then I'm gonna say sorted lectures.map, right? Yeah, that's amazing. That's literally what we need, right? So this is what my endpoint expects. So ID, and no, not really. So this order is gonna be the index, pretty much, right? So this is gonna be the order. I think so, at least, right? So, and let's actually, let's print this, right? So I want to make sure that when I call this now that it's at least, it's called turbo console. It's called a turbo console. All right, so let's see, this is most likely going to fail, at least the API will, but let's see if we get a console. Okay, so this is good, right? Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there is. I mean, you can also go to production, but there is, if you go to, this is in production now. If you go here you can see like so far what I've created for this specific course, right? So this is like table of contents, if you may, right? All right, so this is cool, right? So this was fine, and this most likely errored out or something. Let's see. So if I actually go here and if we take a look at the network, actually I don't think that anything happened at all, did it? Did we call any endpoint? No, not really. Okay, so let's see. That's a little bit strange. Oh yeah, because we're implementing this, I think, in a different place. Give me a second, okay? Or are we? Let's actually search draggable list. No, actually, this is the only place where I'm actually using this. So, handle sorted lectures, yes. No, this is actually fine. That's a little bit weird. Let's try that again. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. We should be calling the API right now, right? Let's take a look at that. Yeah, actually, so we're... Oh, lecture ID is not defined. Okay, so yeah, I see. Lecture ID, yeah, this fella over here. Okay, that's a little bit weird, okay? Okay, so we're also calling the wrong endpoint, right? So that's the problem, right? So this is the... Yeah, this is the endpoint. Okay, my bad. All right, so let's copy this endpoint, right? That's the problem. So we have the slug, sections, section ID, lectures, and then sort. Okay, so yeah, this is wrong, right? All right, cool. Let's try that again. Please make sure that we're calling it, right? If it fails, it's fine. We need to... Okay, so at least we're calling it. And yeah, sort said that it worked. Let's see, did it actually work? All right, so it actually works. So great, that's good. So now we can, in fact, actually sort them, right? Let's debug this a little bit, just for the sake of some sort of security, right? So let's go to our API, and this I think that's sort lectures, right? Let's get over there. Did I set up a debugger in this environment here for this project? No, not really. Okay, that kind of sucks ass. But doesn't matter. Okay, so let's just say here, yeah, sorted banana, dog, cow. Okay, and let's sort it. Yeah, so actually we do get to that point. So actually, so what it is working actually. So that's awesome. Okay, cool. All right, so that's great, right? So it does actually work. So let's just let's make sure that if it fails for whatever reason, we have some reasonable question message. Yeah. Give me a second. All right, cool. So that's great. Did I deploy latest stuff in the API? Yeah, that's deployed. I mean, that's awesome, man. That's great. So the only thing we really need to push now is the front end stuff, right? Let me just discard some of these things. I don't think that they matter much. So this is really the only thing we need to do, right? Now, wait a minute. But before we push this to production, right, let's just make sure we do one thing, right? Because this order is actually changed, but when I actually go to the course, not in the dashboard, is the order changed here? Lecture 2, that's good. Lecture 2, so because I don't remember how I built this UI, is it respecting the order like that? So let me put this thing now on the top, right? And let's go again to the courses again. Yeah, so actually it does seem that I did respect the order, right? All right, cool. Well, if that's the case, that's what can I do? Okay, so implement. And for those of you who were here last time when I streamed, I don't actually remember where it was. You can actually see that some of you asked me, why are you not using our library for sorting and stuff, right? And you can see that if we go to our own storybook, not that one. If we go to yale.programmer.network, this is basically my UI component library that I open sourced, right? You can see how easy it was to actually build this list, right? So just for a simple list for ordering, right? If we actually go to the docs and show the code here, no, you're not gonna see the code there. But if I actually open the Louis GUI or Yale here, yeah, this is really all the whole thing, right? And we've added the spinner and all of that crap as well, right? So you can see there's a little spinner basically. And this is just the storybook, obviously, right? But there's a little spinner and all of that stuff, and it's super simple, right? This is pretty much the whole logic of that, right? Exactly, Rebecca. Completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. All right, let's go to Cloudflare pages. This should be hopefully deploying now. Oh yeah, it actually deployed already. Okay, cool. Let me go to production, and actually in one of my courses I do have the order that's wrong, and that is here in the introduction, right? And also here as well. So let's actually see if this worked at all. So dashboard, courses, edit. All right. All right. Nah, it didn't work. Shit. Well, technically it did work. No, technically it did work. Okay. Shit, but why is it? Give me a second. Oh shit, no, actually it did work. So it does work, but our UI isn't actually respecting it. So that's good, because we can see, right, that if I actually reverse the order of this, right, if we take a look at the payload right here in my sections, you can see that introduction is order 0, and this is order order 1, order 0. Chillax, my friend, good evening. So no, so it is working. We just need to make sure that these lists actually respect the order property. Right now they're not respecting that, right? Introduction to HTML, yeah. So if I actually go to the courses now, yeah, so it's definitely not respected, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So basically, I suppose, right, that let me actually close this crap. So what we actually have to do, right, in this draggable, for example, inside of the draggable list, is when we give it the items, that we need to sort the lectures respecting the order itself, right? So if I go here again, actually, even if we take a look at the database view, right? So if we inspect our courses table, right? So if we go to course, no, not really course lectures, right? You can see that each lecture has an order property, right? So we need to respect that property, right? So here we have to say dot sort. That's literally it, right? This is what we have to do. And we need to run this again, this process, right? Okay, so let's see if this works, right? Oh no, chillax. Unacceptable, man. Unacceptable that you just came for 2 minutes and not gonna waste 4 hours on my stream. You don't even love me, man. You don't even love me. I knew it. I knew all along. But jokes aside, man, I'm good, man. I'm good. We took our son today to Dinoland, my wife and I, and we've been just jumping. But we have something called we've been here today into Dinoland, and I came home maybe 3 hours ago. We've been there whole day, and we've been just jumping around this thing like crazy. It was super fun. Yeah, this is our favorite place. So I've been whole day just jumping around here and just chasing my son and doing this sort of stuff. This is it's like 20 minutes away from us. So it's this is where our son loves this a lot. So we spent a day with him today. Yeah. All right, so this does work now. Okay. So this does work now, but where did we see it in production not working? So we saw it, I suppose, right? And chillax, go Rust, man. I'm here. We're gonna be hanging out hopefully for a long time. So don't you dare to worry much about the stream, because we'll be hanging out, man. Don't worry. This is yeah. What the fuck? Yeah, this is a little bit weird. Okay, like when I designed this accordion, but either way, right? What? Yeah, that's a bit strange, right? But it doesn't really matter. What we have to do here, we have to map through this, right? And I mean, the problem with the problem sometimes with this yeah, never mind. Yeah, fucking hell, man. Come on, dude. Like, okay. Oh, I see. You too, my friend. You too, man. Thank you for coming by and saying hi. All right, so here basically we have to do this as well, right? Course details. I suppose it's this one here, right? So this is the course details. So if I put this lecture on the top, sorry, accordion, right? Oh, it's this one here, right? No, it's all good, all good. Ah, shit. Okay. All good. So wait a minute. So I think that's what we have to do now. So items course lectures dot sort. Yeah. And I think now it should be fine, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So that was the missing piece, right? That was the missing piece. So let's just add this sort. Can this be kind of done in a different way, in many different ways? Yes. This could have also been a global state, which I'm happy that it isn't, but yeah, we could have had a utility for this, right? So you can see clearly, let's make this work, but we could have a utility now that says sort lectures, right? Somebody asked on YouTube, why don't you use TypeScript? I use TypeScript when writing all of the open source libraries that I have, they're all written in TypeScript. For this project, I'm not using TypeScript now. All right, cool. So that should fix that, and that's great. Do you end to ask? No, I do not. No. All right, so this is being built. Give me a second. Let me just the evil that men do. Let's go. Right? Exactly. Headbang. Man, I was at I took my wife to Iron Maiden 3 years ago here in Copenhagen. Jesus Christ, man! I almost If she wasn't there, I would have jumped off balcony. I would die and join all the warriors in Valhalla on that day. Shit, man, it was so good. I'm going actually to the concert this Sunday, tomorrow actually. So yeah, we're going tomorrow, 3 of us. I actually might record some stuff. We're going to What is a headbang? Leo, you're such a noob. You're such a noob, man. Unacceptable. This is a headbang, brother. You need to come to Copenhagen, dude. And I need to educate you a bit on music. I need to take you to some festivals. Anyway, we're going to listen to these guys tomorrow. So I'll let you guys know next time I stream how it is. When you bang your head. Jesus Christ, Leo. I will come to Finland. I will have to. I think, Leo, I will find you. Beautiful. Okay, so that works. Shit. What? That's not that doesn't look very good, does it? What? Is that the regression we introduced or something? Wow, that's a new one. Okay. Very weird. Let's see. Is it one of the things that we've just done? Okay, good. It's failing locally. That's great. No, all good. Ah, that's a relief. That's a relief. Okay, course details. I see. Okay. So let's go to the front end, right? Let's go to course details. So what did we change here? So what is it failing with? It's saying, hey Alex, that's not cool, man. How, what you're doing isn't cool, dude. All right, cool. Give me 2 seconds. So let's go to the front end. What did I just push? I just pushed something, so that must have caused the regression, right? Ooh, ouch, ouch, ouch. That is a huge failure, isn't it? Oof. Ouch. All right. That is not good. That is not good, my friend. That is not good, my friend. Okay, so this is one of the issues for sure, right? So let's fix that one immediately. Fix misplaced sort. So that's one thing, so that's great. Let's see over here, that should be fine-ish, right? That's also fine, yeah. Yeah, so that's great. So I think that was, in fact, an issue. So I was saying on Discord today, I'll need to create as we did before, so we'll need to write some Go in the streams and stuff, but I'll need to go through the backlog and figure out every stream what we do, right? So I'll actually do that tomorrow. I'll take an hour, just go through this huge backlog, go to the bugs, and then try to compose each stream with a few things that we want to achieve, right? Like this could be a super cool task, right? Implement a real tagging system. Right now our tags are hard-coded, they're finite amount, right? The one that I've added. So this could be a great one, right? How do you implement a real tagging system, right? Especially in Postgres. Well, like hashtags, like on Twitter, right? So yeah, so there's some awesome tasks that we can in fact work on. So I'll just move this to the top. Play this game on stream. I saw this other guy playing this game, but actually now when I think about it, I'm not gonna do this, so I'll remove that. I don't know, I just removed it. It was hack or something, I don't know. But I'm not gonna play games that mimic IT. We gonna new videos. Okay, but we'll see. Okay, I'm just waiting. I'm just kind of killing a minute of time just while this is. Okay. Okay, so we're good, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I agree, man. I agree. Ooh, what the fuck? That's a little bit weird, isn't it? Didn't we wait a minute. Didn't we order this stuff? Did the contrast change? No, not really. I haven't changed anything at least. Wait a minute, so... Sako, my friend, good evening. Just give me 5 seconds here. Courses. So where is this crap? Inaccurate. Yeah, it's inaccurate here now as well. That's so weird, man. That's so weird. And thank you everybody for your follows. I'm sorry for not reading it out loud. Numinax, buddy. Good evening. So that's actually good. But this one isn't good. So where is this one? This is course details, right? Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, set course. Yeah. Section course. Lectures. Wow, that's weird. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, I see what's happening. All right, all right. That's the story of my life, Numinix. So this is the problem, right? We're missing this sort here, actually, right? Section, course, lectures, sort. Yeah, that's what we're missing. That's what we missed, at least. That's what it seems that we missed, right? Well, Numinix just came, so it's, of course, it's something has to break, right? Something has to break. Ooh, one of the best songs ever made. Programmer network front end. Let me get a sip of water. I have YouTube Music for probably a couple of years. I don't have Spotify. I pay for YouTube Music instead. I don't know when I started paying. I guess I could probably try asking my billing. But I don't remember when I. But it's been a couple of years for sure. Maybe we can. Can I like check that? Can I actually check that paid membership? Manage membership. I don't think I don't think it says here. Genuinely, I don't. Honestly, the thing is, right? So I don't actually care if it's Spotify or YouTube Music. I think that it's better to support musicians on YouTube because they will make a little bit more money than on Spotify, number one. And number two, I generally use YouTube anyway, right? So why use two different applications for that, right? I mean, so right. And also you can, with YouTube Music, right, you can also, watch videos as well, right? So you can easily switch to a video as well, right? But yeah, I think probably musicians make also a little bit more money. And I'm a musician, right? So I want to support musicians, right? It's a very tough industry to be in. Very tough one. Awesome. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, I had Spotify. I mean, I almost worked at Spotify as well, but then I decided not to. So I love that company. Spotify is a cool place for sure. It's just as a consumer, I care more about myself than the company that I'm consuming from. So okay, so that's great. This is awesome. That's great. Well, we implemented that, so that's what it is. We did it. Yeah, I mean, this thing we could also do to like save $10 a month if we wanted to, right? I think Sako said this long ago or someone else. But I'm paying for Docker Hub, right? Which is fine, right? I don't actually care about $10, but maybe I would much rather give some free stickers to you guys or some shit than paid. So we could, for example, maybe tomorrow or whenever I stream, probably not tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to the concert. Maybe on Monday we could do some of that as well. Activity pub with Mastodon. One of you guys suggested this. I don't even know. This could be cool. Yeah, so I've done a lot of this stuff. What is this? What is this service? I must have saved this for some reason. A decentralized social network with chance of working. Oh yeah, one of the viewers, also one of you guys shared this with me, right? This was a super good idea. Yeah, this would be, oh man, this would be so cool to try and implement, right, with our programmer network, right? Man, this would be a cool project. I mean, is this useful for regular user? I don't know. Example relays, Noster wine. It seems super cool, right? It's just, is anyone actually using this, right? I mean, the protocol is one thing. It's like crypto, right? Crypto also exists, but try taking your Bitcoin and going and paying somewhere with it, right? Well, this is just a product. This is a protocol for decentralized social networks, it seems, right? So where the data is kept and stuff, I don't actually know, but I guess they have some relays, right? Whatever. Relays are like backend servers for Nostr. They allow Nostr clients to send them messages, and they may not store these messages. But this is a little bit funny, right? Well, think about it that your stuff is not hosted on AWS or GCP or Hetzner. It's decentralized in a sense. It could be just like in Silicon Valley series. It could be hosted on all of them. Your phone, piece of your data might be on your own computer, right? So it's just not centralized. It's not like right now we're hosting the programmer network on Hetzner, and when we say decentralized, we mean, well, how can we host this distributed, decentralized, so that you own your data, right? It's not on my server, right? But I don't know. So, but this is going to be one of the interesting things that we explore. Like, we need to first do the due diligence, right? What is this, right? Who is behind this, right? I mean, uh, you know, we need to be careful who is behind, right? Oh wow, okay, here's why Bitcoiners are flocking to Nostra, social network supported by Jack Dorsey, Edward Snowden, okay? All right, that's oh my god, this is the ex Twitter CEO. Isn't this guy the ex? No, 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 no. Ouch. Okay, this guy, Edward Snowden. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Unlike the old social media where the platform, yeah, okay. I mean, Edward Snowden. Let's see. I mean, this is cool. I mean, we could spend some time with this. I know that the average 18 years old Joe probably doesn't even know what privacy is, or maybe you do know it more than I think. But this could be something we can try implementing in the next streams, right? We need to learn how this works first. So this is cool, right? Each Nostr account is based with it's basically almost like your SSH. It's almost like your SSH key is your username and password. That's great. The public key is generally, yeah. So that's protocol. Nostr itself just an agreed upon procedure for passing messages around on the internet. You will access Nostr protocol via client. Clients can be web, desktops, and mobile apps. Clients can fetch data from relays. And I don't give a shit about that. The only thing that I care about is what is the relay, right? Because who are we sending messages to, right? I mean, it's like, how is this decent? Relays are like the backend for Nostr. They allow Nostr clients to send them messages, and they may or may not store those messages. Wow. Okay, we need more details on that. The world of relays is changing fast. I expect many changes in here. One thing to note, because Nostr is decentralized, depends on relays to store and retrieve data. You notice that your Nostr client feels slow. It's more likely due to the... Ooh. So those are all the relays, right now. So here is one in Helsinki, which is great. I wonder where is this? I wonder if this is like at the University of Helsinki or somewhere. Stockholm. Let's see, Copenhagen around me. Where is it? I wonder who is hosting this. What the fuck? Skåne. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, first thing that I see here, right, is that, yeah, I mean, look, I fully support decentralized idea, right? It's a dream, right? I'm fully with this. The only downside of this, right, is that it's not reliable, right? So you cannot say that. So, for example, when we think about centralized internet that we use now, and we think about high availability, right? HA, we think about Kubernetes, we think about all of this. This is everything opposite of that, right? So if you're building a service that has to be highly available, you probably don't want to use this yet at the very least, right? Because, I mean, it seems that there's a lot of relays, right? So you could say, yeah, man, but there's a bunch of relays. You shouldn't worry. But this is not a bunch of relays, right? I mean, when it comes to, let's say here, Copenhagen, what was it there? Or Denmark, there was like, there's one somewhere in Jutland or whatever here, right? So, but I mean, it would be super fun for us to try and learn how to use this. So that would be pretty cool, right? But I think this is only for message sending, right? So I don't think that we could like use this to store to host a database, right? If all the relays that you have used in the past go offline, all your posts will be unretrievable. This is one reason that Nostr allows users to connect to many relays. This ensures some degree of backup. Yeah, right. So Cassie, my friend, I'm sorry for not responding. I think you sent the first message this stream. Good, man. I'm just going through the backlog, right? I need to kind of figure out, I need to be more organized in the streams. And first, I want to continue building Programmer Network, but now I'm just going through the to the backlog. And this is one of the things that one of my viewers shared with us long ago. But yeah, I mean, you can see this is, I mean, we could try building, I don't know, a chat app. So for example, what we could do, we could build some sort of a chat, just like on LinkedIn or whatever, on Facebook or these platforms. We can build a chat for Programmer Network, and then we can use Nostr, right? Because that would be an awesome way to utilize this protocol, right? Because we want it to be fully encrypted. We don't want these messages to be available anywhere, right? So, but I would not dare to store any data that needs to be available on this, but because you can see what they say. What happens if the relays I use stop working? If all relays that you have used in the past go offline, all your posts will be unretrievable, right? So basically which is logical. That's how it should be, right? It's just, that is fundamentally the problem with decentralized idea, is that, you know, you can't, as a business, for example, expect, yeah, well, one day I might log in or might not. Depends if some guy decides to shut down one of the relays, right? So, you know, like, hey, Alex, John Doe here. You know, we paid 3,000 euros for this month, but our product is not working. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, your data has been fully deleted because, you know, another John Doe in northern Sweden, his cottage burned down and all of your data burned with it. Oh, no problem, no problem. Well, you know, I'm very happy that I gave you $3,000. It's yeah, that is the problem. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the problem, Rebecca. You can even, I'm sure that you can even find the irony in that, in your message even, right? Decentralized and paid, it doesn't go well together, does it? Right? When I hear that, I find it truly bizarre. It's like, we decentralized things to our own servers. That would be like AWS or GCP would say, now we also support decentralized internet. We took the servers we have and we just call them now decentralized. Right? That's kind of, it's like a paid decentralized. Ridiculous. All right, well, that's what it is. All right, well, it's good. It's I mean, we should definitely play with this. I think it would be amazing that this platform could indeed be something that, yeah, users own fully, right? That would be like so cool, right? I would sign that thing instantly. I would be like, yeah, I do want you to. Viking coder, well, it is legal, yes. This is not going to be saved. This is not going to be saved in the VODs. This is just, you can just hear it while the stream is playing. And how are you doing, Viking? I haven't seen you in a while. Pretty great. Good to hear, man. Very good to hear. All right, let's see. Okay. I think you've been here before. I mean, at least some Viking has been here before. Well, actually, yeah, it's an assumption I'm making, because I'm sure that there's that Viking isn't really too rare of a nickname on a gaming platform, right? It's usually like Big Balls 666 or, you know, Killer Strong Badass 69 and the nicknames like that, right? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly. You're following me basically. So yeah, it's yeah, I remember. I have a good memory. I know that I've seen you a couple of times. Okay, well, there's a bunch of things that I'll have to decide on. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff to. Okay, great. Cool. Okay, so what is life? Yeah, exactly. You and I discussed it because I live in Scandinavia as well. We live in Denmark as well. So yeah, I remember that we discussed it together as well, for sure. Yeah. Okay, great. So that's good. So we have next time you're maybe using blah blah blah. Actually, no. I just want to do one thing quickly, not relevant. Yeah, I do remember it. So actually, what I want to do, what I haven't done, is I didn't generate tests. So actually, I'm going to use ChatGPT here. Given these tests, I forgot when I implemented this thing to actually generate some tests, and this new component I made, write the tests for draggable list. Oh shit, I didn't remove it. How did you sleep? So after you guys left last night, Sako basically came to our place last night with his beloved wife, and we've been hanging out for like 4 or 5 hours. So I slept good, Sako. I slept good. We woke up. I just drank 2 coffees, and then we went to Dino Land, and we've been there from around 2 until 6. We came home around 7:30, I think. Diana prepared Nikolai for sleep. I put him to sleep, and then I started streaming. What about you guys? And it was super fun, man. Can't wait to hang out again. Draggable list dot test dot, what is it? Is it TS? How did I write other test? TSX. Okay. So TSX. Yeah, I certainly did. And likewise, man. I hope you guys had a good time as well. Items, mock items. Okay, so let's this is like what draggable item. Shit, man, why is it? Don't I have like a draggable? Oh, draggable list. Okay, my bad. Okay. ID, title, description. Likewise, man. Likewise. Diana also adores you like a lot. Alright, let's just fix these tests. I forgot to write the tests for this thing last night when I implemented this. And this is an open source thing, right, that we made. So I need to treat it with a little bit more responsibility, right? So I want to make sure that it's all fully covered, and it's super easy to have 100% coverage when you test things in time like this, right? Cool. Okay, so actually, you know what? Let's not run the tests here in this integrated terminal. Let's just oh shit. Let's do the watch in here. Let's expand this window and let's see. Okay, renders accordingly. Let's see what actually failed. Oh, accordion failed. That's a little bit weird. Why would the accordion fail? No, it's good. It's just I had to update the what was it called? I forgot. Okay, handle drag and drop correctly. Okay, so this test is not passing, so let's fix it. Unsorted function, so we have a spy here, render draggable list, mock items unsorted, call this thing, simulate dragging item, fire event, drag start, screen get by item 1, drag over this guy. Okay, so let me just comment out. So let's just make sure we have one failing test, right? Because having two of them makes it super hard. Okay, so the spy wasn't called at all. Where is this bad boy that's failing? So it's this one, right? Let me just change the song. Give me 2 seconds. Let's play Renegade. I don't know. It's just from no, let's play Hearts and Fire. No, let's not play that. No. Yeah, no. No, it's okay. It's okay. Let's play some Hammerfall. This is the music of my youth from more than 20 years ago. Wait a minute, am I actually playing the Renegade song right now? Oh yeah, I am. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, so let's see why is this not being called. So sorted, unsorted, unsorted. So why is the spy not being called? It's so weird. So I guess we're trying to fire the event here. What are you using? I don't actually remember. Let me check. I'm using testing library React and vtest. I never remember because there's so many of these libraries. It doesn't really matter. They're all that do pretty much the same. But I'm using, yeah, testing library React and then vtest. So this is the thing that fails, okay. So for whatever reason, we're not this is not being called. At least it's not figuring out that it's being called. So let's figure out why is that. So why is this? We can see number of calls 0. Let's actually go into the component. How did I implement this? How did I implement this drag and drop thing? On drag, handle drag, on drag over. So drag start, drag over, drop, right? On drag, handle drag. Where's my, don't we have on drop or some shit like that? On drop. So we don't actually have it. We have handle drag and we have that on drag. That's a little bit weird. Is this what I wanted? I guess that's what I wanted, yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit weird, man. So I don't know if it's our implementation now or... So we have handle drag. Yeah, that's so weird, man. That's so weird. Give me a second. On drag over, on mouse over. it's so weird that I didn't implement on drop when we did this, right? Okay, give me a second. Let me just run this in a storybook, right? Shit. Give me a second. Yeah, I don't actually remember. I mean, I did this one like 2 days ago, right? Or something like that. So let's see what's happening here. How did I implement this? I don't genuinely remember. Why did I not implement on drop, right? Where is this? Yeah, on drag, okay. Right, yes, so that's okay. Handle drag. Yeah, that's fine, right? Handle drag. Oh, here's the handle drop. Sorry, my bad. So I do have it, but when do I call on drag and? Ah, shit. So maybe this should have been on drop, right? Instead, I suppose, right? Maybe I shouldn't have. Okay, let me wait a minute. On drop. Let me just change the song. I actually don't even know which song is playing right now. Dracula, what the fuck? Let's play the Hammerfall Hearts on Fire. All right, on handle drop, right? Let's take a look at that. Let me refresh. Yeah, I guess that's why, right? So on drop doesn't work for me. On drag and actually works. So when I stop the dragging, right? "21 pilots." What the fuck is this, man? Is this what you want me to play? Is this it? All right. I mean, if it's some bullshit crap, I'll kill it immediately. Okay. Oh my fucking lord. Jesus Christ, man. Whew. Leo, you need to come to Copenhagen, spend a few days with me, man. You have to come a few days here. I will tie you to a radiator. I will torture you and I will teach you music, man. Where is this crap? Okay. So yeah, so that's a, yeah, I mean, yeah, it feels a little bit weird, man. It feels a little bit weird that I use this on drag end, right? It seems more reasonable to use on drop. Let's actually wait on drop MDN. Let's see when is this event actually fired, right? We can, yeah, drop event. The drop event is fired when an element or text selection is dropped on a valid drop target. To ensure that the drop event always fires the next, but you should always include a prevent default call in the part of your code which handles the drag event. The event is cancelable and may not. Okay. All right, so I think what they're saying, hey man, hey Alex, you know, if you want this on drop to fire, you need to prevent default in other places, in some of these other events. I think they're basically saying, if I understood it, that here we need to say e.prevent default, right? I suppose. That band is very no, I mean, I'm just annoying you a little bit. It's fine, man. You can listen to whatever you like, right? It's that's the beauty of music. You can always find something, right, that is what you're doing absolutely disgusting of 100%. It's terrible, right? But that's what it is, right? I actually try to be politically correct about music, and then I just I just didn't wanna, you know me by now, Leo. I cannot lie to you. Is that song that you shared absolutely fucking disgusting? It is 100%. Don't you ever dare to share that crap with me again. Thank you. And I still love you. It's okay. It's just yeah. It's just I wanted to be like, like I wanted to say something that's, not to offend you or whatever, but then I would have lied to you, and I don't want to lie to you, right? All right, let's see now what's happening. Okay, so number of calls 0, motherfucker. Okay. NCS Hellcat. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, my friend. So technically now, okay, wait a minute. I'll just talk to myself just for a second, right? Okay, let's just say here banana, right? C1, good evening, buddy. How you doing? All right, wait. No. Let's play corn. Let's play something very depressing, though. But that's what it is. All right, so what did I want to do? Oh, yeah. So, why banana? I don't know, man. I genuinely like bananas. And I'm talking about the fruit before you start trolling me. What did I want to do? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Banana, actually, what the fuck? I like the banana in my mouth, for sure. Yes. Bananas are healthy. They have vitamin K. And it's beautiful. 100% I like it in my mouth. There are many things I like in my mouth, various types of food and stuff like that, right? Bananas amongst them, yes. Vitamin D is very strong, my friend. Very strong. Like, yeah. It's going well, man. I haven't streamed much past month or so, but yeah. Kind of getting back into it. What about yourself? Yeah, you need a lot of D. I think, Leo, you need a lot of D. You need a huge amount of D, vitamin D, yes. Yeah, exactly. A lot of it. Let me just see, guys. I'm gonna just get serious for a moment, because this is a little bit weird. We just want to make sure that this test actually passes, right? So let me just comment this bad boy down as well, and let's try this. Let's run the watch again, right? So that now they're all passing. Okay, let's yeah. That's a little bit strange, okay? And if we do this now, simulate drag, get text, yeah. Okay, and now we kind of fart out here, right? And that's fair enough. So basically, yeah, I mean, it's okay, right? I mean, we do Oh, I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is, right? It's okay. It's okay. So basically, right? Yeah, it's fine, right? Unsorted basically expects a promise, right? And I did that, right? If we go to production, right? When I do the sort action, right? If I go to the dashboard, right? If we go here and I drag this, right? You can see that this calls an API, right? So that's why, obviously, right? I'm waiting for the server to say, hey man, it's all good. The sorting is finished. Leo, you cannot go. You have to stay. I'm sorry, man. You will go when I'm just kidding, man. I know that it's midnight time there. You can see Numinex is saying the same, man. If Numinex says stay, I wouldn't even question that anymore. I would just stay. All right, so where is the test again? So wait a minute. So we should get banana somewhere, right? Banana. Here's the banana. Yeah, the banana is there. Are you even a programmer, Leo? Pfft, unacceptable, man. All right, so let's yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Wait a minute. I know. I'm just talking to myself, but it's fine. I know. What did I want to do? Didn't I have some tests? What did I write tests for? Was it I had this thing. What was it called? When I see it, I'll know it. Shit, man. What was the name of that? Leo, my friend, sleep well, dude. I love you, man. Thank you for being here. Reactions. Oh, I think reactions didn't I have? Yeah. Wait a minute. I think I had some before each. Expect. When I see it, I will know. I don't actually remember. Oh man, where was it? Typography, text over star, spinner, share button, inputs. Maybe select async. I don't even have tests for that. That's kind of sad. Oh no, I remember. It was different library that we open sourced, right? It's a different one. Wait, what was the thing that I open sourced? Shit, man. What was it? How did I call that? Let me go to npm. Give me a second. What was it? If I go to npm. Use AGV form. I think this one, right? Yeah. Here I have some tests that where I'm testing some async stuff, right? Yeah, here it is. Great. So if I open the tests here, actually, because I don't remember the API of this testing tool, but I remember that I did it. So I'll find it here. Give me a second. Yeah, we have the fake timers, right? So we have this crap. That's what we're going to need there. So which project am I working on right now? Use AGV form. Luigo. Yeah, this one. Yeah, sure. No, that's not what I want. It's this one that I want. Okay, sure. So we're going to set up some fake timers, apparently. And then I'll find a place in here where I'm asynchronously, where I'm delaying something to say, right? I hope so, at least. I think there was an example somewhere. I just don't remember where it is. Here it is, act. Shit, it's the act thing, right? Yeah, it's the act thing, right? So we have to import act, okay? No, that's not the project. It's this one, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna import act. And then, yeah, let's see where I'm using the act thing. Yeah, here. Okay, it's a callback. Beautiful. Okay, so that's good, I think. Let's go here, and now I'm going to actually go to this test that's kind of failing us a little bit. And I think, what is the timeout that I... And thank you everybody for your follows. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm almost certain that this has to do with asynchronicity nature of it, right? If I let me actually try to, because handle drop, shit, handle this guy also is an async function, right? So, but let's make sure, let's try to make it to not be, right? Nah, shit. Crap. Okay. So no luck there, right? So start dragging. Let me just try to also figure out if we are actually getting this element at all. Element. Let's make sure we are actually getting this selector, that this selector works. So we do actually get the references. Let me just change the song. Give me a second. What are we playing now? Slipknot. Sure, let's go Slipknot. Let's go Duality. Let's play Duality, yes. So we do get this, right? So that's good. Fire event drop. So drop the element over this. Is it maybe that? Give me a second. Give me just one moment. Because we're calling the drop on the UL. What if I would smack this bad boy actually on the element itself? Would that make any difference? No, it wouldn't make any difference. Man, shit. So why? Okay, I'm now becoming a little bit desperate, so it's okay. Actually, don't give a crap about this one. I just wanna... Abdi, my friend, good evening. How are you, man? Good to see you again. Not much, man. I'm just trying to fix some test. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird, I can tell you that much. Start dragging on drag over. On mouse over, on mouse sleeve, on click. Yeah, that's all kind of good, right? But here we fail basically. So the spy is not called. So this unsorted is just not called at all, actually. Ah, shit, that's not what I wanted to do. My bad. I'm doing good, but not been very active lately. How is it going about you, Laura? I've been on vacation with my family, with my wife and kid for like 3 or 4 weeks. So no, I haven't streamed Go in a couple of weeks. I haven't also touched much of the book again. I bought that book many years ago. I did start it back then, but so at one point, yeah, I just need to plan it right for this stream as well. But we will be writing Go for sure very soon. I just came back from vacation like last week, so getting back into streaming again a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty much the status, to be honest with you. I can show you. Give me a second. So the book is called Writing an Interpreter in Go. You basically write your own language using Go. Give me a second. So it's I bought this. When did I buy this book? I think I bought this book like literally like 6 or 7 years ago. Very, very long ago. Let me see. This edition, when did I buy this? I know it was like really long ago. I think I bought this book in like 2017 or something like that. So yeah, I think I bought this book in, yeah, it says here 2017. Yeah, or even 2016. So yeah, hopefully they have updated the book, because I can see here that the Go version was 1.3. But yeah, this is the book. This is the book. Maybe it could be a good project for me because I'm a pretty smart guy who needs a project and I don't. Well, Big Blaster, I think you've been at least somewhat around this stream for a long time. You do know that no matter what project you take on, you need consistency and you need continuity, and right. So I don't think that you just need to. It's so many things that one needs to do if you want to build a successful project, right? So I don't think that writing an interpreter in Go is gonna hook you enough relative to other things you tried, unless you have that continuity, right? It takes a long time to finish this book, right? You would really need to focus, right? And no matter what it is, a web crap, game development or whatever, you know that there's really no difference in that, right? No matter what you build, at the end of the day, you're gonna. Yeah, it is fine. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the user experience. Depends what you. It depends. It depends. I don't think that question it should be asked in the technical context. It should be asked in the product context, right? Do you want your users to know who liked or disliked something, right? No. It's not that who the hell am I to believe? That would be a. I would be too much of an egoistic asshole. Absolutely not that I'm saying that. I'm just saying it applies to all of us. It applies to me as well, right? I mean, it's the hardest thing when it comes to projects is coming back and doing them, right? For me as well. So don't think that I'm some sort of a isolated case. I mean, I've built a huge consistency with my own projects, right? But it's not that it's easy for me. I would much rather sometimes lay down and watch Netflix, right? So it's all of us are in the same basket there, right? But when I put my dislike UI, it doesn't show me that it will be publicly available. What are you talking about? Localhost? Are you talking about programmer network, or are you talking about some other platform? Yeah, I wrote Yale. Yeah. This is yeah, but where do you see that? Wait a minute, I didn't even know. Wait a minute. So what? Wait, I don't remember that I implemented it to be there's a GitHub. I mean, a lot of stuff I open sourced, right? So you guys can find a lot of stuff in here. And the repository to Yale is here, yeah. Yeah, it returns user IDs. I think that's fine. Is that something that you don't think it's fine? And if so, why? Because when you like someone's post, they will see that in their notification anywhere, right? So I mean, a person, when you like someone's thing, they will get a notification anyway, right? So I don't think that there's much of a difference. But feel free to share your feedback. I mean, not at all, Big Blaster. I mean, I don't think it's a little bit difficult for me, right? I wear a lot of hats. I do infrastructure as well, right? I don't think so. I like to think about this as just building products. I would much rather think about it that way than categorizing myself to one other or any other end, right? I mean, if you want to build a product yourself alone, you need to wear many of these hats, right? And let's face it, right? The most complicated part of any of these is the front end, right? So that's where if you're building a product that's user facing, right? Customer facing, the hardest thing without any discussion is always the front end, right? Because that's where most of the annoying parts are, is like how easy it is to use, does it make sense, etc. Because backends, especially CRUD APIs, are generic mostly, right? So a lot of complexity today, the internet has moved a lot of problems to the front end, and the front end became incredibly complicated, right? So you're saying the front end tells that it's anonymous thing. I mean, it seems that your brain works in a good way, right? My hacker wife. No, it's a good point. I mean, I didn't think about it that way, right? Because you're right that I cannot hover here and see who liked or disliked something, right? So should I start learning Figma as a React Next.js hobby dev? Yeah, I think Figma is awesome. Yeah, I think you should learn some Figma, sure. But I think most of the stuff you can also do by hand, right? You can use always have some paper and a pen and a white. I have some whiteboards here as well. So you don't necessarily need to learn Figma. What I mostly use for depending what you want to achieve, right? If you want to do high fidelity or low fidelity, for all the low fidelity mockups you want to use, something like this, draw.io, mock up your site like this, right? You need to be quick, right? Figma is good for several things. Figma is good for team collaboration. It's good for interactive mockups. It's good for high fidelity stuff. But you don't want to use Figma to mock designs like this, right? Because if you're building a web app or any application system level app that has some user interface, you wanna use pen and paper or whatever, right? If you want a high fidelity, like super detailed things, then you use Figma. So you probably don't need Figma as a hobby developer. If you're working alone, you want to use probably like draw.io, pen and paper, Paint, right? Sometimes you're going to see me using Paint in my stream, right? I'm just going to scribble something very quickly. you also have this tool called Sketch, right? It's also free. No, not this one. Sketchpad, yeah, this one. This is also pretty cool, right? You can also draw, right? So you can do this as well. And then, of course, for team collaboration, you can use Miro, right? This is what we use at work, where I work. We use Miro for for interactive diagrams and stuff like that. Then you can interface with this together with your team. Figma as well, right? Obviously for design. Yeah, Figma is great. It's just like, again, one has to be careful with using too many of these tools, right? Because again, Figma is great for many things, but if you're a hobbyist developer who builds side projects, Figma is a huge overkill for most things, right? Because again, I just showed you, this is a free product, right, etc., etc. So you don't need to, you use one tool to define your layout, and then another tool you can use to right. I worked at a company called Dream Data here in a central Copenhagen. Actually, you have my LinkedIn in a description of this thing here. The fuck is this, man? Iron Maiden. System of a Down. Shit, let's go. Oh, fuck. Wait a minute. No. So Figma is not good at that yet, unfortunately. So we tried Doro, the designer that works in my team. I lead a team at Dream Data. I work as a tech lead, and my designer is always kind of trying to stay ahead of time. And we tried using some of the Figma AI tools and stuff like that. Unfortunately, they're still very poor because there is one tool that can, in fact, export your components, but it's using another abstraction component library beneath it to achieve so, right? So yeah, it's definitely, I think, definitely that's the future that I can see. I think that designers, maybe in 5 to 10 years from now, I think designers will be maintaining the core UI libraries themselves. It's gonna fall off developers' shoulders for sure. Like, for example, Yale, right? This thing that I built for Programmer Network, obviously, right? I built this manually, so of course it would have been amazing if I had someone to generate all of this from me, right? But yeah, Figma is not there yet. It's not there yet, I think. All right, so let's I think that, give me a second, where's the full camera? So let's chat a bit, fellas. Let's see if people have any more questions. I'm super happy to respond. And then I'm gonna head off and spend some time with my wife if she's still awake. So if anybody needs any help, now is the time. I'm very happy to chat. I don't honestly know what vertical slices is, so I haven't heard of that architecture before, no. Should I deep dive one language, or it's okay to dabble? I think I mean, it depends from what perspective, right? If you wanna increase your chances for always having a job, right? Then focusing on certain subset of technology is always better, right? For sure, right? Because at the end of the day, right, nobody cares how many languages you've tried, right? So when you go into an interview, right, it's gonna always be, well, this is what we are using. Do you know this, right? It's cool that you tried 15 other things, and that's good, and that's certainly useful. But at the end of the day, it's about the job at hand that you're applying to. And you're never going to apply a job for a job where you're going to write 6 different languages. In 16 years of my career, it hasn't yet it hasn't happened yet. Are you guys using Fastify at work as well? Yes, we are in one of the services. So I used Fastify for Programming Network for more than a year. And then we also, for our front-end facing API, we also switched to Fastify. I managed to sell it to the rest of the developers in my team. They actually liked it a lot as well. So yes, we switched from, I think it was Express. So front-end facing API was using Express. We switched to Fastify. And we basically switched to it using the Fastify Express plugin. So Fastify team has built a very nice extension that you can use while you are switching from Express to Fastify, right? So you can set that up. And then eventually when you migrate all of your code to Fastify, you can just remove the extension. But a Big Blaster, I think learning other languages is absolutely amazing because you can reinforce the knowledge. You can become a better programmer in your primary language as well. It's just for when it comes to job search and stuff, I don't think it matters, right? Because you're always applying for a job that's using a specific stack. And in that given context, right, for that company, if you're applying as a C# developer, well, it's cool that you know Go, right? But they actually need a C# developer, right? So they don't care about your endeavors in other places, right? I like how team customization works in PN. Yeah, I built that system in one of the streams. I mean, everything, whole network was built in a stream, right? But yeah, thank you for saying that, man. Alrighty, any more questions, my friends? YouTube, anybody on YouTube? Where do you keep your books? I mean, most of my books that I have here in Copenhagen are here. I bought an IKEA shelf for them, and you're absolutely right. They're super heavy, and they are very painful to. It's very painful when you're moving or traveling. I agree with you. It's yeah. I still love physical books for some reason, but you're right that yeah, take a lot of space. Well, actually, I name my interfaces with I. New or old? I was actually, to be frank with you, I never listened to In Flames like as much as I listened to some other bands. So I actually, most of the I Flames that I know is the old one. I haven't listened to I Flames in Flames past 5 years much. But there's one song that I used to play with my band, and it was called Man Made God, and it's an instrumental song. We used to play this song before. Do you think the hackathons are the future of hiring, or something like the company has a GitHub repo and who contributes? No, I don't think so, no. I don't think that has any future, no. The future of hiring is the same as today. The biggest problem with hiring and biggest problem of people who are complaining about the process of hiring is that nobody came yet with a better approach, right? We all know that is the biggest problem with humankind sometimes. We all know, for example, that hiring process is bad, but nobody actually suggested a better process, right? I listen to Disturbed a lot, yeah. I love Disturbed. I know every single album, so yeah. But when it comes to hiring, I don't think that hiring is going to change much. I think what's going to change in the future is that soft skills and communication skills, critical thinking skills are going to increase in value. And as I said many times, programming skills will decrease in value because of AI and because of, So the programming already is not the center of programming job, right? Programming is now just merely a side effect of building products, and to build good products and to be a good software engineer, You have to obsess with users, with user problems, with this, genuinely being obsessed by finding a solution, and caring about the UI and UX if you work in that field. Can't wait to see all the tech gurus switch to sell. Exactly, and I think that's going to be a lot harder to sell, right? Because unfortunately, a lot of people neglect these skills today, and it's very hard to teach someone how to behave, right? It's very easy to teach someone how to write code, but how to communicate, how to be a good listener, how to solve conflicts, and etc. This takes experience, right? And I think on top of that, it's becoming very hard because a lot of people want to work from home. And of course, when you work from home, what it is that you're missing? Well, you're missing being with people. And what does that mean? Well, if you're not sitting with people and arguing with people in person, you're missing out on these skills because you don't know how to read human emotion, you don't know how to disagree, etc., right? So remote work is going to make this even worse. People are going to get even more disconnected from each other. It's crazy, yeah. Well, Big Blaster, I mean, that's not possible, right? Because it's very expensive. So there's the most fundamental problem with hiring that a lot of, especially younger people, don't understand is that hiring is very expensive. I've spent probably in every single company that I worked past 10 years, I was part of the hiring process for the developers, and it's very expensive, right? Whenever I'm hiring, I'm pulled out. I have to meet these people for interviews, I have to meet them for the calls, I have to meet them, etc. And it's not only me, there's other 3 or 4 people that have to do the same, right? So hiring is incredibly expensive. So, and on top of that, you cannot get 15 developers in the same room. That would also be very difficult, right? I mean, maybe Rebecca. Yeah, I mean, look, I made a very vague statement, right? So I don't disagree with you, right? But I think my point, I guess, mainly is that it's just gonna get even worse. I agree that maybe differentiator isn't if you're remote or not, or if you're in the office, right? But I think it's gonna get even worse. So yeah, you're right that that's not a differentiator for sure. Yeah, I'm with you, right? Yeah, I mean, again, it's a very complicated subject, right? It's not to say that you can't hire fast. Hiring is just expensive, right? It depends what type of people you want, what the product is. Like, there are many variables there, right? It's not just hire. You can hire 100 people in 3 hours, right? It's way more complicated than that, right? What type of product you're building, what are you looking for, what type of team you're building. Is it consulting? If you're hiring developers to do consulting work, you can hire them in 5 minutes, right? But I would never hire a person that does consulting in my own team right now. I don't need that type of person, right? I need a developer that can obsess and fall in love with the product that they're building, right? Because I need them to solve that problem every day for a couple of years of them staying there, right? Whereas if you hire a person that's mainly a freelancer, these type of people don't genuinely care much about the product, right? Yeah, it is expensive, right? I mean, that's I guess the biggest problem, right? The biggest problem is that, again, when you're hiring, right, you need to pull out your developers, your CTO, your whatever, depending on what the process is, right? So yeah, that's why, for example, when you look at those unicorn companies, it's like, hey, why do they have algorithms and data structures, all of this crap? And the only reason they have it is to filter out a huge amount of people up front, right? They know that these questions don't mean anything, right? But they're just thinking, well, if these guys can sit for a year and memorize 400 different algorithms and stuff, they can probably learn reactjs as well, right? So that is, so all the companies, whenever you have a bunch of these useless questions that might appear as useless, that's there just to save them some money, right? It's like, how can we, we have, thousands of applicants, how can we already discard half of them, right? So, yeah. What's your opinion on open sources? Our newbie has started some repos but I would never hire you because you're writing code, right? I would never hire a person because they can write code. Nobody is gonna hire you because you have a repository, right? I don't hire people personally because they can code only. You have to go in an interview, you have to meet people, people have to like you, right? You have to show, again, the most important skills when I'm hiring. Of course, the hard skills are important. If I'm hiring a C++ developer, of course that he or she has to know C++, but there's far more important things as well than that. I'm not going to hire an asshole to the team, right? Do you check? I mean, I think most people, when they're reading CVs, you spend 15-20 seconds, so because you get 100, 200, 300 people, right? You don't have the time to. That's why what I would suggest to everybody, make sure that your CV is on a single page, and make sure that you emphasize things as quickly as possible, because nobody reads that crap. Some people have CVs which are 3, 4, 5 pages. Nobody will ever gonna read that, right? Not because people don't want to, it's because you don't have the time, right? You just, I don't remember. I think right now where I work, we're using, I think, Workable. So this is the platform that we are currently using when I'm personally hiring and the rest of the organization. Let me just share it here. And the way that this works, right? Like when you apply, I click on your profile in Workable. Workable renders your CV. And then I can click on 100 other people in that list, right? So it's a very fast-paced thing, right? So that's why CV has to be super direct, and the experience on your CV is the most important. So your self-perception on the CV is irrelevant. When I say self-perception, a lot of people in their CV write what they think they are or who they want to be. It's like, programming languages, Go, C++, C#. It is Sako true. I mean, I'm telling you based on my experience. I mean, I'm not talking from theory. I'm talking from my experience past couple of years. I literally click on a list. And I click on a second item. So it is true. Because you don't have the time. I mean, you spend 20 to... No, but nothing that I'm saying is the absolute true. I agree. I mean, sure, possible, right? Maybe that's also completely random, right? Languages are very hard to learn. I disagree with that. Languages are incredibly hard to learn because learning a syntax of a language and learning the whole ecosystem and building products with it are vastly different things, right? Learning the tooling, learning the community built standards, learning if you're learning Go, like learning a idiomatic Go. So I disagree that it's, learning a hello world type of thing is one thing, but building scalable apps, right? Exactly, pretty much what Kirill said, what Spectre said, yeah. Spectre, hi man. Good to see you, dude. Good to see you. I disagree. I think languages are very hard to learn. And when I say languages, it seems that we are thinking about different things. When I say learning a language, I don't mean learning how to write a for loop or how to. I'm talking about concurrency models. I'm talking about, showing that you have actually done it. That's the thing. It's clear that if you learn one language, you can learn how to write a for loop in another language, right? But claiming that you know multiple languages, as in, it's very hard to claim that unless you have built something in all of these languages, built something in production at an actual job, right? Yeah, but that's not the point. That's meaningless, right? We all know that a function is a function, that the statement is that's not the point. That's not the point at all, right? The point is that you build for a different runtime, different ecosystem. You cannot take a JavaScript developer and tell him to become an embedded developer. Let me write drivers for a CPU. Because when you look at the drivers code, it's all if statements and for loops, right? You get what I mean? So it's not about syntax, it's about the runtime and the ecosystem, right? You cannot ask a JavaScript developer to write C++, right? Do you know registry on Windows? Are you writing like Windows OS applications? Yes, okay. Have you worked with registry? Have you worked with, low-level, Windows 7 APIs? How do I create? So that's the point. It's not about the syntax, it's about the ecosystem, right? And this takes years to learn, right? It's quite the opposite. It's very hard for a C++ developer to build web pages. I'm sure that the C++ developer can learn how to write if statements, right? What's so different? What's so different between C# and Go that I never mentioned that you need any X amount of time. That's also not the point. I'm just saying different runtimes require different experience, right? And that's pretty much everything. Try, it's like asking a web developer to program a PCB now. Oh, let me buy some Arduino sensors and code those. It's not the code that's the problem. It's the domain knowledge that's the problem. That's like, asking a JavaScript developer to program medical equipment machines, right? Well, they cannot because they lack domain knowledge. So it's not about the syntax and the difference between the language. It's the whole ecosystem around it that's hard, right? So that's why when I see on a CV that somebody says, I know 13 languages, that's hilarious. You know syntax of some of these languages, but you haven't built anything in them. So you lack domain knowledge, right? That is a huge difference, right? And that is my point. So when we say I know language, nobody cares if you know the syntax. That's not the point. It's about everything else around it. Right? So if you switch from C# to Go, you will need to learn, some of the things in Go, which modules, packages, how the community thinks, what is the way to do this and that and this, right? So there's a lot of these things that you learn while writing a specific language. So like Kirill said, you can learn many languages, but mastering them it's incredibly hard. Incredibly. I mean, even JavaScript, mastering JavaScript is incredibly hard because there's so many details, there's so many things one has to know. And of course, these modern frameworks kind of guard you against these things. Like when you use React or Angular or any of this crap, right? You are basically encapsulated into everything is taken away from you, right? But before we had these frameworks and stuff, you had to know, prototypal inheritance, you had to know JavaScript details and a lot of other stuff. So it applies to all other languages, right, as well. So, yeah. Yeah. Any other interesting overall packages something to look for? But yeah, I mean, I can see a lot of stuff in YouTube about hiring. I think when it comes to hiring, right? Hiring is, at the end of the day, right? You're going to get, let's say, 3 people who are almost equally good. And you're going to pick the person that simply also oftentimes just aligns. You have a good feeling about that person, right? That's why I say soft skills are incredibly important at the late stage of your career, right? Because when you become a senior and when you're applying for senior positions, most people know that you're capable of coding, right? So when you're applying as a senior developer, nobody is thinking, oh, can this guy write an API endpoint, right? So the thinking process is different. If I'm hiring a senior developer, I'm not thinking, is this person able to write a CRUD API, right? That would be a silly thing to ask, right? So you focus on other things, and then you focus on their experience, you focus on where they worked, you focus on how they work, You focus in the interview quite like how they react when they're being asked a little bit uncomfortable questions, right? So when you're a senior, if you're hiring a senior or a tech lead or a team lead, your concern shouldn't be can they write code. You know that they can write code, right? Can a senior developer write a React component? Wow, it can. Wow, so great, right? No, nobody cares about that, right? You care about things about, how easy it is to work with this person, where they worked, right? What did they build, et cetera, et cetera. So that's also true, Bogdan. You're absolutely right. So that's why I say runtime is one thing, and then the domain knowledge is a different thing. Like I think the example that you gave is a great example. You can be a perfect C++ developer. That doesn't mean that you can build video games in C++, right? Or C# for that matter, or Unity. Exactly. That's a very good point. And that's my point. It's not the syntax, it's the ecosystem, it's the domain knowledge that you need to have, right? And that is just how it is, right? You can learn C programming language. You can learn the syntax in 20 minutes. That doesn't mean that you can write CPU drivers. That doesn't mean that you can write kernel, and stuff like that. So that is the point, right? You cannot say, oh, I learned C syntax. Let me apply for a kernel specific job. Let me, work on Linux, right? Well, good luck with that, right? So that's why when I say you cannot say I know many languages, you don't. Nobody does. It's very rare. It's very rare that you do, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what recruiters ask for, localhost. Recruiters are not technical people. Recruiters are looking for keywords. They're looking for whatever they were told to look for, right? So they're not, in my opinion, a relevant party to right. You cannot expect from a recruiter to know these things, right? These people are mostly people who studied something else. They couldn't find a job, and then they became recruiters, right? So. Well, I think the language does matter, right? And I think everything matters, right? That's the whole point, right? It takes many years to master a single language. And it's not about that all of us can learn anything. That's not the point, right? There's a huge, the reason why, the reason why software has degraded to such a huge degree past decade. Actually, the software quality has degraded past 10 years more than it has degraded past 30 years, right? And it has degraded exactly because of this neglection of importance of knowing the details, knowing the runtime, knowing the language inside out. An average front-end developer today sucks at most of these things. Why? Because you go to a boot camp, you learn how to import some components, you learn how to write some divs, and you get a job, right? And you start there. And a lot of these people don't ever go backwards, okay, and say, okay, well, I've been thrown into the problem I've learned in a bottom-down way, so let me now research. So it's not true. It takes many years to master anything, right? And these people are rare, right? And that's why, I mean, that even the simplest websites, when you go to them, they're broken, they're bugged, is because of the mentality where, yeah, it doesn't matter, I'll just learn it. Well, it matters, man. It's programming is very hard, and it's clear that it's hard because everything breaks all the time. There's nearly no software that you have on your machine that hasn't broken. You haven't played a single game that didn't exit randomly in the middle of gameplay, right? Which means writing code is hard, right? And that has changed past decade. All of these courses become software engineer in 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 seconds, right? All of that crap has contributed to the absolute absence of any quality of anything, right? Is because people think that, yeah, it's just code, I'll just learn it, right? You will not just learn it. It takes time. It's hard. You can learn a language in 6 months, right? But your job isn't just that language, right? There's many other things that a professional has to learn to be a professional, right? Software engineer doesn't mean just learning a language, right? If that was the case, then everybody would have a job, right? There's various other details around it, right? And experience is the hardest thing, right? When you didn't have your first job yet, that is the hardest kind of period in which you will be, right? You never built anything actually, right? With other people. You never actually built anything with other. You maybe have built something on your own. You copy pasted some to-do app, you built some Netflix clone or some shit like that, right? But working with other developers and that is a different story, right? That is a different story. Any other remarks? Anything else you guys want to discuss? Especially people who never sent a message here, feel free to do so. I'm sure that most of you are very anonymous behind these nicknames. And I'm so happy to see Kirill here. I didn't know you're still around sometimes, man. That's awesome. I see a lot of these posts on LinkedIn. How do you become 10x developers? Everybody is giving everyone else an advice on how to become a 10x developer, and none of these people are actually 10x developers. It's actually hilarious. I keep going to LinkedIn lately, and it's like, let me tell you how you can become a 10x developer. It's like, dude, you are not a 10x developer, so how can you share that advice with someone else? It's fucking ridiculous, man. There's so many influencers, man. It's incredible. It's insane. It's getting worse. It seems that most people are just talking about code now. They're not actually writing it. They're just talking about it. Jesus Christ, man. It's getting kind of out of control. Crazy stuff. Where is the video that I recorded? I want to share it with you guys. Where is the code tech best approach? Where is the video that I recorded, man? Dashboard. How can I share it with you guys? Is there really a 10x developer? No, I mean the thing is, no, not really, right? I think so oftentimes when I so what is a great I mean, if you want to define something like 10x, right? Some of these people kind of exist. Let me tell you one thing, right? So for example, at the Dream Data where I work right now, most of my work is helping others, right? I work as a tech lead, but when I say helping others, I don't just mean my own team. I work in a team of 5. So at Dream Data, we have teams which are composed of product manager, designer, and then 3 developers. And my team is like that, right? But when I say I help others, I mean I've been in the company for 3 years, so I know a lot of stuff. And I help customer support, sales, customers. I have customer calls. I help my team. And this is something that my company values a lot, which is why, I'm also a tech lead, why they give me raises and stuff. So when I think about things like something X, 5X, 10X, 3X, I think about value. How much value does this person produce? This is not a tangible value. It's very hard to evaluate this by measuring it. But does this person enable others? Does this person help with things that nobody else knows, or with things that nobody else wants to do, etc., etc.? So if you ask me, this is a path to some of these stupid things like 10x. It's probably like just a fucking marketing shit, right? But if you want to truly work towards that path, I would say and that's at least how I feel oftentimes at my work, is that try to be valuable, right? But not falsely or whatever. For me, the main reason why I love going to work after all these years today is exactly this, that people come to me, they interrupt me, it's like, hey Alex, do you remember why we did this? And I'm like, oh yeah, actually I remember. And then, sales come to me and say, hey Alex, do you know if our product can do this? And I'm like, yeah, actually it can, or it can't. So then I have a customer call, they need help to set up tracking on their website. They're like, I'm gonna do it, no problem. So I think also when people talk about 10x at Google, they also mean this. They don't mean it's a developer who writes 10x amount of code or 10x speed. It's a person that's just valuable to the organization. It's a person that's very hard to lose, right? It's a person that you don't want to lose. So it's not, so 10x necessarily isn't the person that maybe even writes code. It's the person that just provides so much value in all of these places. It kind of links things. Where it adds help where help is needed, right? But yeah, anyway, it's just, there's so much of this bullshit on the internet with, let me tell you how you can become 10x. Shut the fuck up, man. Like, you are not 10x. So I actually recorded a video. Maybe some of you didn't watch it. But I recorded that video that I just shared. It's called Influencer-Driven Development, Programming Propaganda. If you have, If you have 9 minutes, watch it. I pretty much talk about it there. I mean, Big Blaster, I'm a little bit different. I think it's easy to criticize, right? I think I'm on a very opposite spectrum of the audience on Twitch and also on the audience in general, I think, on the internet. I think if you have a person in your organization that's minus 10x developer, that's the organizational problem, not the person's problem, right? If you have a person in your organization that works there, let's say, X amount of time, and they're really that bad, that's also organizational problem. It's the problem because, number one, somebody hired that person. Number two, nobody helped that person to become -5, -4, -3, 0, and then to grow, right? So it's basically, it's always, it's like with children, right? I have a small child, and for most of the mistakes that he makes, most of them are not his, because I have to teach him as a parent how to do it. And if I fail as a parent, he's going to fail as well. So it's the same with employees, right? It's going to be very rare that you hire a person that's minus 10x, right? That's very rare. I mean, for 15, 16 years of my work, I haven't met anyone that was radically worse than others. There are some differences amongst people. Some are worse, some are better, some are more productive. But generally, you have that in every team. And you have that always. Always somebody is going to surface up. Somebody is going to be mediocre or whatever. And that's fine. Not everybody wants to be great, right? I don't think I haven't met a person that produces 10 amount of code more. That I haven't met a developer in my life yet that produces 10x the value in the context of code. I did meet people who provided value several times more in general than others, but when it comes to code, I haven't met a person who just built. Yeah, but I get you, Big Blaster. It's just I don't like these types of posts, right? I find this sort of stuff quite negative, right? Like as I always say in my streams, right? This is very impractical, right? Because again, there's nothing more than I hate in life than people complaining, right? So this is how I work. This is what I do at work and how I live my life. And this is, for me, it's almost binary. For me to complain about something, I have to have a solution. If I don't have a solution, then I'm at least not going to try to complain, right? Because there's no outcome of that. If I go to my manager and I bitch about something, it's like, I mean, what am I achieving? Nothing. So maybe I can then, instead of complaining, maybe I can ask, hey, well, I think we're doing this. But this, when I read this sort of stuff, right, this is just, this is kind of what sells, right? This is like YouTube, like everything else. I don't see the point of this, right? If somebody is doing anything of this, you as a colleague should try to help them. If you can't help them, you should talk to someone that can, right? But this sort of stuff is very childish to me. You know, I don't. Yeah, this is almost like a 7 years old person bragging about something, right? It's like, yeah, right. I don't see the point. I don't see what this is solving. These types of articles, right? So, you know, instead of that, you can be proactive. You can try to improve things. You can try to help people. You can try to uplift them, right? This type of egoistic bullshit, right? This person that wrote this article is a perfect developer. This person never made a mistake, and everything that this person does is perfect, I'm sure. Like, when this person comes to work, it's just perfection, right? Like, it's crazy. I can't, right? It's very childish, right? And I don't think it helps. So yeah, I mean, like, you know what I mean. It's instead of criticizing things, improve them, make a change, make a difference, right? Instead of pointing fingers to others, try to help them. Try to say, hey man, you know, don't, you know, this is just like a 4 years old, right? Yeah, yeah, whatever. That's not how I work, at least. Find it a little bit useless, to be honest. Actually, I wrote an article in 2017. Here. It's called Continuous Excusing Development. I invented this concept called SED, Continuous Excusing Development, basically. Symptoms of SED: continuous complaints about the language of his own choice, continuous complaints about the complexity of the tools of his own creation, continuous complaints about the complexity of the code of his own creation, picks the opposing side in all discussions and feeds on complaints of others. I'm sure that many of you can see this. Shares random social articles on how horrible something is. Self-reflection skill lower than the unborn. Proposes no solution or help on any of the complaints. Has weak arguments or no arguments at all. Blindly follows his Twitter heroes. I wrote this in 2018 in the summer. What else did I say? In most cases, SED can be successfully treated. Exceptions are mostly individuals with horrible personality traits, and only holy or unholy can help those. Work on your self-awareness. Don't be an asshole. Know, you know, you can read this if you want, but know what you know and what you don't know. Don't think too high of yourself. This is my favorite quote from Einstein. If I had an hour to solve a problem, I would spend 55 minutes looking for the right questions to ask. But yeah, I literally wrote this out of frustration myself, because I've seen already in 2017-18 how people yeah, it's just too much, right? Because again, it's so easy to point things out. It's so easy to point things which are not great. Everybody can do that. A 7 years old child can do that. But your job as an engineer is not to do that. Your job as an engineer is to engineer things and make them better, not bitch about these things, right? So your company didn't hire you so you complain about things without action, right? You're hired to improve things. So if you ever, you know, stumble upon a code base in your own organization and start bitching about it, man, you've been hired to improve it. So why are you bitching about it? If that code wasn't bad, you wouldn't have been hired at the first place. So it's like, if you see a piece of bad code, you stay humble and you fix it, right? You don't complain about something that gave you that job in the first place, right? It makes no sense. So yeah, when I wrote this, actually just came to me. This was pretty much this is how I felt, at least. I mean, think about it. I mean, whenever you are in doubt, right? Whenever you're in doubt, be genuine. Ask yourself, what type of person would I want in my company if this was my company? So imagine that you took your savings, your whatever, you took some money you had and you started your own company. What type of developer or a person or an employee would you want to have? Would you want to have some little crying baby that just complains like a little bitch? Or would you want to have a person that actually is actionable, accountable, and stuff like that? It's just common sense, man. This is not some sort of ancient philosophy, some stoic, whatever. It's just common sense. And I always think like this. If this was my company, what type of persona would I want? And everybody wants an autonomous person that's not a tool, that can make decisions, that doesn't need to be maintained like a tool, right? So those are the core things that I think if every individual would apply this, everybody would indeed become, but it's just like, yeah. It's just, everybody is so good to point out on the bad things, but when it comes to fixing them, it's like, Jesus Christ, man. That's how it is. That's how it is, my friends. Well, that was a little bit of me talking. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, Rebecca. I think that's one of the core reasons for sure. A little bit, you mean hours. To my defense, I was coding as always 90% of the time, I think. But yeah, people asked questions and I just felt, yeah, I haven't done this in a long time. So I just felt I can use a bit of my time to discuss some things. And as I always say, take my opinions with a grain of salt, because their opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So just because I have one, it doesn't mean that I'm right. So please. Yeah, it's good to be back as well. It's always also bad when there's nobody actually talking about anything. Then the purpose of the stream just dies with it. When you're like, any questions, and it's just like pure silence. So will do, Sako, man. I love you, dude. Thank you for being here. Yeah, opinions, that's a great quote, I mean, to live by. Opinions are like assholes, everybody has one. It's one of the best quotes. If you utilize that quote in your everyday life, you're gonna realize that just because you have an opinion doesn't mean anything. Rebecca, yeah, Sako and his wife, they've been yesterday, they visited us, we've been hanging out for like 4 or 5 hours, drank some alcohol, smoked some stuff. And he's saying, you were memeing. Got it. Fair enough. I'm not smart enough to realize you were memeing. I'm a boomer, remember. What is a bloomer? Boomer, what is the term? Boomer, I think. Boomer. I'm a boomer. Like this, right? Oh my god, he had to see my face before falling asleep. You see this connection that I've created? Leo. Wait, let me actually do a nice face just so you can kind of fall asleep nicely. Wait. Alright, wait, another one. You get a duck face, right? That's modern today. Fake fucking lips. Alright. There's one for you. I have used GraphQL, yes, many times, also at work, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. It adds some very nasty abstractions. I'm not a fan of GraphQL interface in the front end as well. It's supposed to make things simpler, but you end up with writing a JSON looking like stuff that gets very long very quickly. So no, I still prefer REST. Old-fashioned REST APIs to that. Yeah. And GraphQL, of course, adds overhead. GraphQL adds overhead, obviously. It's just another layer of abstraction on top of your database, right? So you kind of give it responsibility to query your stuff. gRPC is different, right? gRPC is, I don't have an opinion on it. We use gRPC at Dream Data for our Go microservices to interface with each other, and yeah, I mean, it's just a protocol, right? I'm not an expert in that field to give any meaningful advice, right? I never built Twitter like of infrastructure scale to need to optimize latency between, you know, protocols, right? But it's like HTTP. It's just better apparently at certain things, right? Well, I think, Leo, that's your problem is not the protocol. It's your problem is maybe how you model your data, right? Right. So your problem isn't GraphQL. It's yeah, you need to model your data better, right? So right. You saw a programmer network, right? It's a good example of super small microcontrollers, right? And it's very rare, almost ever, that I call multiple things, right? So it's a matter of just spending time. The hardest thing of building a system, if modeling your data, that is very complicated, right? And I mean, complicated. Your code is going to suffer a lot if you mess this part up. So I've seen that with people using MongoDB, building highly relational models, and then deciding to use MongoDB. Your whole, let me just put it this way. Give me a second. So just to be clear that we're on the same page, and I've seen this happen countless times. Bear with me. So what is the problem, right? What is the fundamental problem with software? This is your tables. So this is your data model, right? This is how you model your data, right? And this is your most important layer, right? Because why is the most important layer? Well, your API is gonna interface with your database or databases, right? So you're gonna have some API or APIs, and this is gonna be some databases, right? So database or multiple databases, right? You might have Postgres, Elasticsearch, you know, Neo4j. You get the point. MongoDB, right? For some quick store, right? But your API is going to fetch these things, and now how easily you can also query this data is one thing, right? But then how shitty or good your APIs are is going to highly influence your UI, right? Your front end, your client, right? And each one of these layers affect each other, right? So if you model your data in a terrible way, then your APIs are going to have a hard time querying that, so your queries are going to be very inefficient. And this is where MongoDB, where I see the most mistakes is with MongoDB, right? Because people decide to create highly relational models. Let's say you have a very simple use case. You have a user, you have a post, right? And I don't know, you have follower, whatever. You know, let's imagine you're building a social platform, right? In MongoDB is not relational, right? It doesn't have primary keys, foreign keys, whatever, right? So what people end up doing, they end up having like pushing IDs into arrays. So you have like posts in MongoDB collection. You have a collection in MongoDB called posts, and then they push these, MongoDB IDs, right? Like ID1, ID2, ID3, right? Now you have to populate these. You need to, but there are different traps you can fall into this. So anyway, going back to this, you need to first step is to choose the right database. You need to choose the right database for the right problem, given problem, and then you have to keep that always the most important thing. You have to have some diagram, right, where you define these tables. And then when you write the APIs, you need to make sure that they're... So one rule that you should really follow is your UI should always get as normalized and ready data to be consumed as possible. So you don't want to be doing transformations in the UI whenever possible. So if you have a component here that's a list of items, let's say this is a UI component, well, this guy should, when you request this list, you know, like, hey, give me the list, right? It should give you as a formatted list as it possibly can, right? So these are some of the basic rules and golden rules you should always. And then the contract here should be defined. You should have some sort of Swagger spec or whatever, some open spec API, right? Yeah, that's it. Well, yeah, I mean, what database are you using? What database are you using? Yeah, well, because you didn't model your data properly. These should be different tables. You should have a base table. You should have a table called team vehicle. You should have a table team weapon, whatever, right? Then you can choose when you want to join this data or when you don't want to join it, right? So so the problem isn't GraphQL wouldn't solve anything for you, right? That you would still have the same problem, right? GraphQL would still underlying thing would still get the whole thing, right? So that your problem is modeling your tables, not the protocol itself, right? Of course you did, because you're not using Postgres properly. It's because you probably learned some MongoDB initially yourself. You probably learned Mongoose or something initially, and then you transferred that mind model to Postgres. And because you didn't understand, you know, relational and non-relational databases, right? So that's the difference, right? And I'm probably right in my assessment. You will probably agree that's how it was. You started some web development, you found some bootcamp or something, they taught MongoDB with Mongoose, right? You learned a bit of that, then you maybe switched to Postgres, and then you thought, yeah, I'll just have this long ass table and I'm just gonna put all of it in there, right? That was most likely the journey of yours, right? Sounds good, man. Guys, I'm gonna go as well. Rebecca, Leo, everybody, thank you very much for listening to my crap. I hope at least you learn something or agree with something or disagree with something, whatever. We're not here to always agree. And yeah. Big Blaster. Thank you for all the questions, Abdi. Thank you, everybody. I hope you guys had some fun. I certainly did. It's actually good that I streamed. And yeah, thank you guys very much. Tomorrow I'm going to a concert with the colleagues from work, so I will not be able to stream. But on Monday, we're going to see each other. So as always, if you have the time, if you have absolutely nothing better in life to do than look at my face, then please come by and let's have fun. And I'll catch you guys up another time. All the best, guys. Cheers. I'll see you another time.